Hello guys, and welcome to World of Tanks Reviews number 2. We are taking a look at the Tier 9 German heavy tank E-75, and well, let's start off with the stats. It has 1920 hit points, which is the most of any Tier 9, and same as the VK, AUSP, and for this Tier 9 heavy tanks, FV, whatever it is, and weighs with my setup 92 tons and has engine of 1200 horsepower, which makes this actually quite it's not really fast with 30 kilometers per hour and not very nimble with 21 traverse speed, but it accelerates quickly, it goes over terrain very good, so it's not as slow as many who haven't played it think it is. But of course, turret speed is very German, 18, which is the same as, for example, turret TD Hellcat. No, wait, Hellcat has even less. But anyway, it is very slow. Wait, did I lose it already? There it is. But the most interesting thing, of course, is the armor of this tank. It is arguably the most well-armored Tier 9 heavy tank there is, together with the ST1, and in some cases it has, well, the armor thickness itself is not as good as some Tier 10 tanks, but in some cases it is as good. Let's take a look at the numbers. 106 on the front of the hull and on the side and the rear, 120, turret 252 on the front and 160 on the side and the rear. So from any direction you need at least 120 penetration to penetrate this without hitting a specific weak spot. But as you can see, the front armor is very angled. You know, some look at the numbers on this tank and think, well, the armor on the front is not that much better than King Tiger 2. It has 150 on the front of the hull, but just look at the difference on the sloping of the armor. That's Tiger 2's and that's the E-75's. A lot more. So, and the lower plate is very well armored also. And well, effective armor from the front really is 280 for the upper plate when you're shooting it from this angle, and 230 about for the lower plate. So even Tier 8 guns, Tier 9, some of the Tier 9 mediums will have trouble penetrating the E-75 when shooting directly from the front on the hull. And of course, because usually the shots are coming from a little bit higher up, that even increases the lower plate's effectiveness a little bit more. So you need 230 over that, or 230 to penetrate the lower plate reliably. On the turret, 252 on the front of turret, and it's not very well angled, but it's at least 250. You need that at least to penetrate it frontally. Weak spots are the cupola, these ears, that's what I call them. They are for the rangefinder bar inside the tank. This rear port, but you need to hit it in a way that it goes through the rear port and into the tank's turret. If you shoot it from down here, it just goes through the rear port and into the air. Then there's these small bits on the front of the turret that don't have as much armor as the rest of the turret, as you can see. Don't bother trying to shoot the side or the top of the turret because it's very well sloped and angled, so it will just outbounce. And yeah, weak spots. Yeah, lower plate if you have enough penetration, otherwise try the cupola, but good luck with that. And if that's not enough armor for this tank, when you angle it, it comes amazingly well protected tank. if you angle it about like this, it will basically have about I don't know, the upper plate will become impenetrable to anything else than cold ammo. Even tier 10 TDs will bounce it from this angle. Lower plate, depending how much you angle it, what kind of elevation differences do you have, it ranges from I don't know, 250 to well over 30 millimeters of armor. So yeah, good luck penetrating a well-angled E-75, because even the side will have from I don't know, from 150 in an angle like this to almost 300, well, about 300 when you angle it like this. So if you're wiggling the tank a little bit around like this, uh, it will be very hard to penetrate the hull. Of course, you can't angle the turret as well as the hull, so it might be a little bit weaker depending how it is angled, but in any case it will be hard to penetrate with any tank. Only reliable spot to penetrate really is when the E-75 is angled too much, like this for example. You can shoot the axle and just axle jump them and keep doing damage that way. But in any case, it is very well armored tank. In some cases, it is more well armored than an IS-7, for example, because IS-7 you can't angle really. E-75, in the other hand, you can always angle. So that is for a good player, that is a very huge advantage. Well, when you happen to get to its side, 120 on the hull, so just shoot the hull really. Don't bother with the turret, it's more well armored and there's more, a little bit more angling on that. And also because the ammo rack is on here, so when you shoot that, you have a chance to ammo rack him. On the back of it, it's the engine, so you have a chance to set him on fire. From the back, shoot the back of the hull really, because it's a bigger target than the turret. And of course the engine is again there. So that is the armor of the E-75. Let's take a look at the gun and compare it to the other tier 9 heavies. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say that this gun that is on the E-75 is the same gun as on the VK Aus P, and the SD1 and IS-8 also share a gun. So that's why there's two guns less than there's heavy lines in the game. Now that we got that cleared up, let's look at the rate of fire. As you can see, the E-75 has the worst rate of fire of all the tier 9 heavy tank guns. But it does have the most damage together with the Chinese one, so it does even out a little bit with the others, but even so, the British, American, and well, AMX has the autoloader, but they do have slight TPM advantage. And another part where the E-75 falls short of the others is the penetration, really. The others have about 270 penetration when the E-75 has 246, and Chinese WZ has 244, which is quite important in higher games, but it is not that bad. You can easily penetrate any tanks that you might face, well, except for T-95 and that sort of tanks, but other tier 9 heavies you can penetrate with that amount of penetration. Accuracy, not that good either, but it's not awful. You can hit weak spots from close to mid distance. From far away it will get a little bit harder to hit what you're aiming, but then again that's mostly true of any heavy tank except the FV 215P. Aiming time is not good either, but again, it's not awful. It's not that good, but it's not awful either. So overall it's lacking in penetration, and the rate of fire damage is really good, better than some tier 10 heavies. So it is really you need to be careful with this tank using the armor and the high damage per shot to make the most of it. Let's take a look at the equipment and crew skills next. So equipment first, I have ventilation, vertical stabilizer, and large caliber tank and armor. You could switch the ventilation for enhanced gunnery drive. Yeah, well, I would, but I don't want to spend the gold right now myself. You could also fit a toolbox if you don't have repair skills to get your tracks up faster, or large spawn liner, but to get a little bit more protection against artillery. But really, I would stick with enhanced gunnery drive and everything to get most of the gun. Enhanced gunnery drive is gonna help a lot with that aiming time. Crew skills. I have 6 sense, snapshot, smooth ride, situational awareness, and safe storage as first skills. Snapshot and smooth ride work really well with the vertical stabilizer. 6 sense, always useful. And then as a second skill I have all repairs. You don't want to stay still in this tank too long. And I always like repair skills in any tank really, except of course artillery. And yeah, well, that was quickly just that. You really can choose anything you like for this tank, but that's what I recommend myself. And yeah, let's talk about a little bit the playstyle. So how should you play the E-75? Well, it is really a classical heavy tank. Heavy armor, not that quick, a big alpha damage gun. Yeah, you should know about angling and side scraping. That's very important in E-75. You need to know always how to position your tank correctly so you won't get penetrated by the enemies, but you can shoot them and take your time aiming at the weak spot and then doing about 500 damage and pull it back to cover without getting shot. Well, you can get shot at, but just how not to get damage by angling your armor and letting them bounce off you. You also need to know a little bit about weak spots because their penetration is not that great against higher tier enemies or even well armored tier 9s. Of course, because it's quite a heavy tank, when you're fighting against a medium tank and they get close to you and you don't want them to circle you, you can try to ram them because it is over 90 tons. And so well, if you happen to hit them correctly, you will do quite a bit damage and possibly track them, which will help you a lot because then you just keep ramming them and keeping them tracked by, that way. But really, the key word here is angling. That's something you need to know to get the most of your E-75. And well, if you want an example how to play E-75, there will be annotation on the screen. Click that and it will take you to a World of Tanks Tactics replay video where you can see how to play E-75 correctly. And if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and comment and like the video. And I hope to see you guys again next time.